Well, welcome aboard. It's that time of the morning where we actually go through the newspapers, tell you what they are actually talking about this morning. Of course, I do this together with Mama V. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Great.
5 days to go.
Yeah, 5 days. Are you excited?
I am.
On the back of yesterday and all the action, but at least it went pretty smooth, and that was for me the high point, the highlight of whatever happened. The little bits and pieces, double names appearing twice, names not appearing, people taking snapshots of their ballot. But that, that's an issue because technically, legally, what crime have they committed? That's the
well, I think it's
sticking point.
I think it's the issue of your ballots being secret, isn't it? And the fact that people do that for other purposes. But I think what is also disappointing is the special voters are actually an identifiable group of people, mostly state workers.
Yes.
Apart from the media. So to see that they're doing this, they're leading this, I guess that's the low for me.
Yeah. Because they should know better. They should know better.
So I'm thinking, what should we be expecting on December 7th? Because if this is coming out of this one.
If those in officialdom are doing this, and crack one on Zombie.
Yeah, and I think another low one for me, and again, this is blaming the people who went out there to vote, is the issue of not wearing the mask. Because we expect that people will come out and say, I can't afford the mask on December 7th, but not these special voters. No, not the special voters.
Well, what is good for the goose is good for the gander.
No, but
why not them?
Okay, so if you look at these are security agencies, we know that largely, most of them wear even their branded mask. You see the police.
You just said most of them.
Oh, but they all have masks. They all have masks. I mean, I can stick my neck out and say that they all have masks.
But that brings to mind another thorny issue, the bit about not wearing a mask and not being able to vote. And some have said that legally that is wrong because you can't disenfranchise somebody. But on the other hand, we're in the midst of a pandemic.
Exactly.
So you are weighing the two. I guess the intent is we're not even going to give you the opportunity to get on the premises of wherever to vote if you're not in a mask. I think, though, I'm one of those who are of the opinion that make it accessible to them so that if someone comes and can't, doesn't have a mask, or maybe the person, Charlie, you never know. When it comes to the masses, someone you may say 1 CD, but for that person, 1 CD is a whole lot. So how do we, take into consideration all of this so that even if it's possible to give some handouts, I mean, it would be, and this is where maybe I want to see members of parliament and the rest. Well, some may say, but if people are going to come and vote, it doesn't matter, NDC, MPP, wherever they are, make it accessible to them so that if someone comes and genuinely doesn't have one, can't afford it or something, you give out to them.
So yesterday on News Desk, Samson Ladia Yenini, our own private legal practitioner, gave us some education, extensive one, talking about what the Constitution says in terms of the right to vote, but also, that we have an executive instrument that mandates that we all wear the mask. And, it's just like you go to a public place or you even come to any of our offices here at Multimedia where we say no mask, no entry. That's just what it is. So if no mask, no entry to the premises where the election is taking place, then that's what should happen. But whether or not it leads to disenfranchising, I guess that's the word. I guess that's what we don't want to see. But I also had a conversation with the Member of Parliament for Ikaphim South, but he's also in the midst of training with the NPP. We talk extensively about that as well. He indicates that for his party, they're going to have a lot of masks on the day, not branded. They've had the branded mask around this period, but on election day, they will have masks that are not branded, and they'll give it out to people who don't have the mask on the day.
Maybe for shaggy reasons, as a student of legal studies and all of that, this is where sometimes we thrive. Just to see if someone were turned away and then took the matter on to court, just to find out, what the courts would say.
But I think what they're doing is
considering all the dynamics to it.
So they won't turn you, not turn you away, but they'll say, go and wear a mask and come back. I'm not. That's not saying I won't allow you to vote.
Yes, but the explanation would be that by turning me away, I couldn't exercise my franchise. Maybe home is what 10 kilometers away. I mean, sometimes you just want to see how these things turn out. It's a bit. I know.
Yeah,
I'm playing devil's advocate here, but anyway, let's start with our stack of papers. For me, Daily Graphic, the New Publisher, the Daily Statesman, the Finder, and the Daily Dispatch.
All right, I'll go through the rest as we say it sometimes. So let's start with the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Front page, on election 2020, it says 50 MPs quit Parliament, 10 bow out voluntarily. And I was looking for the definition of quits. Like I quit.
Yeah.
It's voluntary, isn't it?
It's a kind of like what Alban Sumana Bagmin is doing. Is that what they're referring to as?
So that's okay.
Because there are the voluntary people as well, the 10. So I'm wondering what the difference really is. Or is it those who have been booted out?
So that's the thing. So they kind of put all of them together. But 10 of them have said, we ain't going back.
We're not even interested.
Exactly. Like we're done with Parliament.
Right.
You know, I had the exit interview with Indosa Hussaini, and then Ernest Kojameno also had one. With a man who didn't exactly say, I'm done with Parliament, except that he lost the primaries.
Yeah.
So, but that's how they choose to put it. 40 of them are not going back, not because they now chose, but it's because the people didn't allow them. The people within their party didn't allow them to get into the next stage. So they won't be back in Parliament, many of them like that. And then, of course, 10. So they break it down beautifully in the paper. Also, avoid using children as campaign tools. That's CRI to politicians. And I'm wondering if this call is not a bit too late. Like, we're done campaigning. And also, government announces 20 million Ghana Cedi scholarship for senior high school graduates. Special voting ends nationwide with minor incident. We all agree the incidents were absolutely minor. It was largely successful with a high turnout. Electoral Commission was hoping for 100%. I guess they will come out with a statement today, but those who monitored the exercise in some of the places said 90, 95, 80. I haven't heard anything below 80, so we'll see how the Electoral Commission itself will put the turnouts of yesterday's exercise. On the back page of the Times, President launches cocoa farmers pension scheme. Voluntary black donations drop by 55%. That's a worrying one. Voluntary black donations to stock various black banks across the country have dropped by 55% this year. According to the National Blood Service, 46,446 units of blood were collected through donations from January to September 2019, while only 20,841 were claimed over the same period this year. And then it makes other comparisons as well. But the point is that December is here, festivities, it comes with a lot of accidents, even though we keep sharing the cautions with you. We want to reduce the number of road accidents. But when it happens, there are times that people would need blood. Even apart from accidents, there are emergencies every day. It could happen to me. I would need blood today, tomorrow. Who knows? You could also be in need. So we need to stock the blood bank, and we have to voluntarily do it. It's not every day that people organize blood donation exercise, not in this COVID era where they will ask you to come around. So we have to learn to voluntarily walk to them and donate.
Do you think the impact of COVID-19 would have had any, sort of tangential, whatever, impact on people not donating blood?
I want to
this
believe
year?
So, especially in the early
because there was a
stages
partial
of
lockdown.
COVID. Yes.
Where people were not, going out to maybe partake. So within that period, 3 weeks and maybe an extra week of this and that, that's 1 month gone.
Yeah, but apart from that, I didn't want to go to the hospital.
Exactly the point.
Even after the lockdown.
People felt that
Like,
even that was a place where you could.
It almost seemed like, you'll be exposing yourself if you went to, even though that's not the case. But even now, doctors advise that you have to call. It must be absolutely necessary for you to come to the hospital. So I think, yes, it largely also contributed. All right, so if you go to page 3 of the Ghanaian Times, and we'll come back and do it in detail, but voice on leaked tape is of Osuampofos. That's according to or Israeli experts, and this on the ongoing of Osuampofo and one other, the case against them for assault. And I think conspiracy. Okay, so here it is. It's a conspiracy to assault public officers. And then there's also a charge of assault of a public officer. And then 2 jailed, 3 years for threatening to circulate nude pictures of policewoman. I'll tell you how, Charlie. Not somebody that you'd call your boyfriend. You shouldn't be doing that. But I'll tell you the story a bit later on.
Well, let's check out some stories now from the Daily Graphic newspaper. It says 150,000 free SHS graduates to enjoy government scholarships. Then special voting peaceful, all COVID-19 safety protocols observed. And, well, in some places it was a bit tricky. You can't sell bushmeat without permits. That's the Veterinary Council. If you look on the front page right there, you would see some images of bats there. And you know, they are vectors for many of these diseases. I mean, in the West African sub-region, when you think Lassa fever and all of these, Ebola and the rest, sometimes they are tied to bushmeat. Cocoa pensions launched 1.5 million farmers to benefit initially. On the international front in Uganda, it's still boiling, and the presidential candidate, Robert Kyagulanyi, known as Bobby Wine, has suspended his campaigns following the injury sustained by members of his campaign team and damage to his car. You know, in recent times, both of them, Bobby Wine and the president, were actually having live events on Facebook. And I think someone captured a snapshot of the two of them side by side. The president had 2.6K live, and I think Bobby had about 26K live, and the person was up to mischief. You should have seen, it was a Ugandan, and it was just interesting, the dynamics there. On the international front as well, just another one I want to highlight. New Zealand's first African MP from refugee to MP. That's on page 9. It's the story of new Labour Member of Parliament, Ibrahim Omar, and how he shared his harrowing story of becoming New Zealand's second ever refugee MP. Some interesting stories on the international front. I also wanted to highlight this one. I think it's on page 38 on the back of World AIDS Day. You know, it's part of the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. And it says, we won't relent on ending HIV by 2030. That's according to the president. Of course, there's the 90-90-90, progressive goal or target that has been set. We've missed some of them globally and even here in Ghana, but we're hoping that we can catch up by 2030. When you go to the back page of the Daily Graphic, Eurogate chairman donates to Samira project. So all of that in the Daily Graphic today.
Okay, so I think I was listening to a report on HIV/AIDS. We have quite a number of children who are HIV/AIDS positive. And what was the news? Well, so they're trying to make the drugs more friendly to the children because it doesn't taste so nice. I think it's the adult drug that they also use in terms of the retrovirals. I guess that's what I'm talking about.
Antiretrovirals.
And antiretrovirals, thanks. So they're trying to make it a bit sweeter for the children. When I pull out the story, I'll share that with you.
But this would be children who, because the whole idea is to prevent it from being passed to the children, so from adult to child.
So this is children who
they've already, right.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Okay, let's do the Republic Press newspaper on the front page. Cocoa farmers get pension as president launches scheme. President cracks whip on national security operative for assaulting soldier. Amidu upsets over president snap, fires more stray bullets. Is there a new Amidu write-up?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
After the 27-pager and the 2-pager. Nothing that I've seen.
Well,
after that.
There's a sad story of baby Ansa being reported dead. I'm sure growing up you may have heard, especially if you're in this field, veteran journalist and editor of New Punch newspaper, Ebenezer Ato Sam, also known as Baby Ansa has died. It's been reported that it occurred at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, where he was on admission receiving treatment for a short illness. He died at the hospital's emergency center on Tuesday, which is just yesterday, and he was 57. He comes from a Ejumako Besiasi in the Central Region. He was based at Kaswa in the Central Region at the time of his death. And then Anglo Traditional Council outraged by announcement of final funeral rites for Rawlings. That's my people. They say they were not consulted.
You know, I made mention of this from the
Rawlings,
start, that they were unhappy about the processes. And it appears, I felt there would be some middle ground found between the two sides too. Because when that day, I think a day after the demise of the former president, when I went to his former office in Ridge, if I am not mistaken, and I'm not trying to slight anybody here, the family members I saw at the time likely would be from maybe Nana Kunedu's end of the family, you get it. So I don't know what the involvement has been with them. And you know, they were raising concerns about Anglo customs not being followed and Rawlings hailing from their end, and how certain, processes or rights ought to be adhered
But
to.
also because they say he had properly been installed as a chief.
Yes, that is right.
So they should have been included in the conversations leading to the announcement.
Is that to suggest they were not included in any way?
Apparently so. That's why my people are not happy. My peoples are
But
not happy
that would not.
with this. So let's see. It needs to be brought to the attention of the public that the Traditional Council had brought to the attention of the immediate family its concerns on how to proceed with the funeral arrangement, and was to have met them for final input into the funeral arrangement. That's what I've read is contained in the press statement signed by the Awadada of Anglon, Togbi Agbesi Awusi II. The council is therefore calling on the president to remedy the situation by ensuring that the right procedures are followed. Okay, so basically that's what the statement seeks to do. Okay.
Yeah. But what was that word?
Which one is that?
Or awadada? Are you anglicizing the word? I mean, you fare better in that.
Well, usually I do, but I can't get everything wrong. So if I did massacre that, apologies to my grandmother, Madam Victoria Nyomi, who's in Anglogan right now, who will be totally ashamed of me. So yeah.
Okay. All right. That was our own in-house expose for you. Let's check out some other papers. Are you done with that?
Yes, sir.
Right. The new publisher, COVID-19 cases up in Kumasi. December 7 polls. Police hits back at Mahama. NPP has not bribed us. That's what they're saying. And it's just interesting that, these sums they're getting usually would come after, but this time it's coming before. And someone say, yeah, that thing don't happen. Anyway, Mama, you and I were not there. We don't have the pink
but
sheets, so.
I guess it would be a big shame if anybody said that an allowance for this exercise would influence their vote. Then I that's like a misplaced. Okay, I'm not in the position to say what I'm about to say, so let me not say it. But I guess I just want to say that it would be a big shame. Because if you're working and you're being paid for it, and that's like an incentive to do something else, I don't know.
But, you're taking me way back in time. Alawa is a big deal in Ghana, but you will have time for that later. 1D1F President commissions Bodukwan multi-fruit processing factory. Bodukwan multi-fruit processing factory. I'm giving myself away here. And this one interests me. Election 2020, Jataba endorses Mahama. Nana Ejene Mboateng, he was disqualified, of, let me even get the name of.
But once you do
Nana
that,
Ejene Mboateng of the UFP, the United Front Party. And he is saying that he's reminding Ghanaians that Ghana is in bad hands and that only John Mahama is the savior. And I'm asking myself, dude, why were you even contesting then? Because you were contesting, now that you've been set aside, this is what you're telling us? It feeds into the bit about the smaller parties always being beholden, in a way, to the bigger parties, a.k.a. the MPP and the NDC. So that's it.
Well, also in the Republic Press, wanted to say that Marek, you were following his court case.
Yep.
So the application has been thrown out, like they say.
Double through.
All right, let's do the Daily Guide newspaper. Front page of the Guide this morning. Nana launches cocoa farmers pension scheme, opens new one district, one factory. Free senior high school graduate scholarships open. Special voting goes smooth. Don't send Ghana back. Attributed to CVM. Rejects Mahama, says the chairman of the NPP. Nana not corrupt like Mahama. That's according to the NPP. Basically, that's what's on the front page. In the center spread, you would find some entertainment news. Nigerian youth don't believe in themselves. Ooh, who says that? It's a Nollywood actor. Okay. All right. I guess that will be it, really. You can check out the rest of the stories.
For me, the Finder newspaper is next, and of all the political stories, I'll zero in on one. Let's start with this. Roads track record unveiled. That's in a picture there of Kwesi Amakwata, Roads and Highways Minister. There's President Akufo-Addo launching that cocoa farmers pension scheme. Reject inconsistent Mahama MPP. But my focus, avoid using children as campaign tools. Brighter Pia of Child Rights International says that, and he has appealed to politicians seeking various positions in this year's election to avoid using children or minors as their campaign tools in securing votes from the electorate. He said it would be very irresponsible and demeaning for any political party to involve children in their campaign activities. But don't we see them?
That's why I said when I
all over the place.
Story in the Times that maybe this call is late. I mean, it's
belated, but
it's been done already.
Ah, well. At least late, but not too late. So that's it with the Finder newspaper.
Okay, last paper for me before we do my JoyOnline.com, the catalysts. If you go to page 4, well, the story is on the front page, by the way. It says, endorsing Akufo-Addo Samini is fake. That says Shatawale. And that's the story that I'm looking at.
Yes.
So if you go to page 4, it says Ghanaian dancehall artist Charles Ni Amamensa Jr., popularly called Shatawale, has described Samini as fake, a liar, and confused. This has come in the wake of Samini's, okay, where's the meat? Where's the meat? According to Shatawale, Samini has said he would never endorse any candidate or political party, only for him to backtrack. Okay. So he was talking on a radio station, and he says he will stop Samini from deceiving Ghanaians soon. You told Ghanaians, including your supporters, that you will never endorse any political party or flag bearer. You condemn celebrities endorsing political parties, but now Samini has endorsed MPP. He's confused, fake, and a liar. Hey, Shatta. I will surely get time for Samini very soon because I won't allow him to deceive Ghanaians. All right, there you.
Shatawale. Well, let's check out some of the online portals now. Mama V will do My Joy online, but before that, at least on the CNN, Trump has raised over $170 million, actually, for that legal push. You know, in recent times, there was someone who had contributed, was it 2 million, 2.5 million? And he said he wanted his money back. Your claims were fraudulent. And then Trump is also talking of another 4 years during, a recent White House reception. So that's it for the CNN. Let's check out some other news now.
Okay, so before that, I think I promised to do the story in the Ghanaian Times about a police woman whose boyfriend had conspired with another person to leak her nude photos. So he said he got jealous.
He asked
his friend. So he was dating the woman, and then he said he suspected that she was cheating. So he created a certain account on Telegram to engage her as another person. And then in the course of the conversations, he asked for, I think, 3,000 Ghana cedis. Otherwise, I'm going to leak your nude photos. She didn't know it was her boyfriend who was talking to her that way.
I mean, how mean,
and then
how
he
evil
got
can
his
he be?
friend to actually send the nude photos. But here's the good thing that she did. She's a police woman. She went to her boss in the office to report the incident. It was the involvement of the boss that led to the revelation that it was her own boyfriend. And now he's been sentenced, I think, 3 years. Let's see. And there was Justice Esando who did this conviction. First-timer offender, but he needed a harsher punishment for the offense. So let's see. 3 years in prison in hard labor.
And maybe something to highlight here. Some people don't know this is a crime. It is a crime.
Oh, yeah.
And even when, just circulating, sometimes we are not aware that circulating some of these photos, it is criminal. And when you're found out, you will be apprehended.
All right, let's do myjoyonline.com. Here's another SARS story. Father of the finance minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, is reported dead. Details on myjoyonline.com. Every right comes with a responsibility. EC urges electorates to go to polling stations with face mask. Martin Amidu dares government to publish a Japa report. Others. Listen, I guess we'll have to come back and do this, Martin Amidu. But there are plenty of stories on myjoyonline.com related to the elections. Professor Ade debunks Mohammed's claims of malfeasance at the GRA. He's the chairman of the Ghana Revenue Authority Board. Equivalent instructs interdiction of National Security Officer who allegedly assaulted soldier. Plenty of stories there on my Joy Line.
But we can't go without my doing this. It's from our very own Ernest Kojo Menu of the Joy Newsroom. And he says, it's your birthday today, Bright Nyameche Akwesike, a member of the Knights of St. John International. Happy birthday, and God richly bless you. So, Bright Nyameche, that's from Ernest Kojo Menu to you. Happy birthday. Do enjoy. Well, that's how we wrap it up. It's time now for sports. Do stay with us.